least willing to see where the discourse might head. I still don't think that it was done in a very successful manner, because we're still having the debate and we still haven't reached any closer to the possibility of LGBT rights in Trinidad and Tobago from a legal point of view. But at the same time, the fact that we're having this discourse and the government is willing to hear what both sides are saying, especially the coalition advocating for the inclusion of sexual orientation, are willing to have a talk with us and hear what it is we really want, and under what kind of framework, and really what it is that citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of their orientation, want. The fact that that discussion has been opened up to us, I think, is at one big step in the right direction.
Do you think your generation will be the one to bring that change?
That still has a lot to be decided, because at the same time, take for instance this seminar, it was organized for young people, and the fact of the matter is that young people were going and taking in this message and adopting it in some way and form. And we as young people who are accepting and want inclusion for LGBT persons in Trinidad and Tobago, we still have a lot more work to do as well in terms of figuring out how we reach young people with our message of inclusion and tolerance and respect and acceptance, and acknowledging these people as people, as opposed to people with a status as homosexual or bisexual or transsexual. They're people just like us, regardless of their orientation. We need to start seeing them as people regardless of orientation, and as deserving of rights regardless of orientation. And we need to find a way to get that message, that important message of protecting people within their own space and within their own time, and giving them the rights that are inalienable to all human beings. We need to find a way to bring that message not only to younger people who have been told this adverse message from the older folks, but to get that message to the older folks as well, and to understand that their message is alienating and damaging young people in Trinidad and Tobago.
Is it hard for people of different orientation to be a young person in Trinidad and Tobago? Is there a level of harassment that is sort of permanently there?
We are
name calling, things like that?
And it's not even necessarily to people who are definitely LGBT persons.
Well, obviously you can't even always tell anyhow, it's just...
True, but we categorize certain things as homosexual, and it alienates individuals who may not even be homosexual from existing as themselves in a space. What we're seeing actually, that homophobia in Trinidad and Tobago and the English-speaking Caribbean, it's actually contributing to male underachievement in schools. The conservative young person's notion of excelling in school and putting his effort out into schoolwork and exams is that gay. I don't know why. And young people who don't want to be associated with and feel the brunt of that homophobia then end up adopting the more macho perspective of the young male in secondary school, which is a little bit more delinquent and aggressive, and we're not seeing that kind of performance from young people in schools because of the fear that these people might be associated as homosexual.
Some people, of course, say that, you know, it's against Caribbean culture. How do you react to that? That the idea of fighting for rights is a Western idea from Europe or from North America?
I don't know if it is. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, culturally and historically, has never been a fight for your rights kind of people. But at the same time, if it's a Western idea, I think that's the one thing from the West that we should make an attempt to adopt, fighting for the rights of all individuals within our space, regardless of status, and we unite as a people and protect the people within our space. If that's a Western idea, then what's wrong with adopting one Western idea that protects our citizenship and our citizens?
Is it eventually going to be a political movement, do you think? Because ultimately all these things turn out to be political movements to get any kind of change anywhere in the world. Or at least a political force.
I don't, if it takes a shape that lends itself to politics, I don't think that anybody would be too upset. But at the same time, I think that first and foremost, we need to do it. It needs to take a social shape. This is a social movement because the objective is not to label societies as a LGBT society and a heterosexual society, but understand that we are one society. And if it doesn't take a social and societal shape, then if it takes a political shape, it just alienates the society even more. We need to start from where the people are and understand and preach to people that people are people. That's really the message of inclusion.
You know, there are always critics with everything. I was following the protest on Facebook. Some people were saying, don't make a fuss, you're damaging the cause, things like that. How do you react to that? Because I know even with Dan Savage's It Gets Better project in the States, he was criticized as well. Even though now President Obama is making a message, or has made a message.
I heard Hillary Clinton had a video too, haven't gotten a chance to see that. But while the...
What do you make of the don't make a fuss argument? Just stay quiet, ignore them.
But if we are ignoring the statement that certain individuals in our society should be excluded legally and to a particular extent even religiously from our space, then what are we saying to the younger generation and the generations after mine? Are we saying that it's okay to, because of an individual's status or orientation, remove him from our society and ignore him and marginalize him, and that we should just remain quiet while we see someone else being wronged? It really, the message that I went into with joining the coalition advocating for the inclusion of sexual orientation is a simple message of compassion. I should extend compassion to an individual within my space who, even though he has some fundamental differences, I suppose, is still as human as me and hasn't done anything to upset or wrong or marginalize or discriminate against anyone else. So why should he be discriminated? I can't understand an argument where we say that...
Is it the same as race in your mind? Discriminating on the basis of race?
I don't want to make a connection between...
Well, Bishop Tutu has, of course, himself.
Yes, and I understand that because there are some similarities, some parallels. But at the same time, if we are mirroring one discrimination against another, we cause some problems for the other discriminated group. All I'm saying is discrimination is discrimination. And if we are justifying one discrimination and we're saying that we shouldn't make a fuss about one particular type of discrimination, then we're saying that discrimination is okay on any grounds, in any space, under any circumstances. We should just keep quiet while we see someone else being harmed and marginalized and pushed out of a society.
So by being silent, in fact, you are saying something.
By being silence is consent. I heard that from a friend of mine and it always stuck in my mind. To stand there and be silent is to say yes. If someone's asking you, basically, that's what we're being asked societally. Is it okay to push someone out? Should we exclude certain individuals in society on the basis of their sexual orientation? And if I don't stand up and say, of course not, these people are members of our society, if I just sit down and put my fingers on my lips, what I'm saying is, go ahead, I won't alert the relevant authorities, I'll just leave that person to suffer. And then it's okay then for someone else to keep his mouth shut and allow me to suffer as well. I can't sit and accept a world like that. That's me.
So what's next for CAISO then? We should mention, by the way, CAISO is on Facebook.
Yes, we are on Facebook.
And it's CAISO.
CAISO.
Just search it in the search box.
TNT's Coalition Advocating for the Inclusion of Sexual Orientation. I can't necessarily say what's next, but I definitely can say that we are going to start getting more young people involved and allow young people to understand more that this is not a message that only speaks to one sector of the society, but it speaks to the society because it's a societal issue that affects everyone. Because if we're saying that it's okay to remove rights and respect and privileges that we are privy to in our own society, then it's okay to 5, 10, 20 years down the line allow someone else to infringe on our rights as well. It's rights is rights, human rights are human rights. What the LGBT society in Trinidad and Tobago is not asking for special rights. We're asking for rights, human rights, that human beings are eligible to, regardless of their creed, color, financial status, and their sexual orientation.
What has the response been to CAISO so far? Positive, negative, any negatives at all?
We've gotten a couple negatives, or at least some stares.
Okay.
But
no overt hate, though, I guess.
We get some. Well, at least I can speak for myself. I get some comments here or there. Why are you doing this? Don't you think that what you're doing is morally unjustifiable? It's morally harming the society. Where's your spiritual justification? I don't pay too much mind because, in my particular point of view, my spiritual justification is that human beings are human beings, and Jesus said himself that really the major thing that we need to be paying attention to is to love thy neighbor, regardless of what the Bible says in terms of this and that, and a whole set of commandment talk and cafeteria Christianity. But we just deal with the fact of the matter that human beings should be loved by human beings and respected in their space and shouldn't be pushed out and ostracized. As far as positives, it goes without saying that we've gotten a couple orders for the T-shirt.
I hear you sold out the first time, actually.
Yeah, we actually sold out 2 days straight. While we were organizing to go to the seminar in San Fernando, we actually, unfortunately, didn't have enough T-shirts for everybody. So some people actually owed some T-shirts, I think. But I think we're definitely going to keep the T-shirts in mind, apparently. And whatever we have planned, it's going to definitely involve some young people and some visible activism in terms of allowing other young people to know that we should have respect for young people in our space and pull them in and try to protect them from all these outside forces that are attempting to accidentally or purposefully have them doubt and question their place in society, and to allow forces of any nature to turn back the clock on progress. Because the fact of the matter is, from 10, 15 years ago, we've gotten a lot. Something like this would have never happened 5, 10, 15 years ago in terms of young people standing up for LGBT rights in Trinidad and Tobago. And what the Hospital Christian Fellowship did by inviting Philip Lee is to say that this growing wave of acceptance of homosexuality in Trinidad and Tobago is something that A, is starting from the young people, and B, needs to stop at young people. And we can't stand and allow a group to come and say that it's okay to tell young people, rather, as opposed to accept homosexuality, reject it and push them out, and tell them that what they have is disorderly and confusing and morally unacceptable in a space where they should feel protected and safe. The fact of the matter is that the Hospital Christian Fellowship is medical and to some degree psychiatric practitioners, people who should allow us to feel safe in our space as young people, and people of any age, as a matter of fact. We should be able to go to these people and feel secure and air our frustrations and our concerns and feel protected in that space. And what they're telling us is that certain individuals, because of their orientation, it is justifiably, to some degree, going to be judged in this space.
And you're not putting up with that. We're out of time, Brendon, unfortunately. But it's been a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You've been watching One on One. Join us again tomorrow for another edition.